Hi, everybody. I wish I could see. Nice to see everybody, but I can't. I only have this one face in front of me I have to deal with. Uh, this is a question from, I hope everyone is doing fine, doing well. And in these times, I hope everybody is still meditating. And it's very easy to find so many things to do during these times. And I'm glad it's Thursday night so we can all meditate together. This is a question from Laurie Delapont. We often hear of yogis and sages, or sages, who describe a state of being where they can maintain an internal state of calmness and peace, regardless of external events or stressors. I understand that we can't use our personal will to make such a shift in consciousness happen. However, I'm wondering what we can do to help increase our receptivity and readiness for a higher state to manifest through us in this way. Excuse me. Okay. Brian just gave me a notice that I might have done this last week. I apologize for that. It's such a good question.
It'll probably be a different answer.
It might be a different answer, she says. But it's such a good question. And every time I look at it, I said, oh, that's a very good question. For those of you who were here last week with me, I would actually say, I hope you remember the answer that I gave last week. Okay, sorry, Laurie. I will say one thing, though, that it seems to me very important that we remember. And this is also something that sages have talked about for a long time. And their method of dealing with this was to engage, to find a place in somewhere, where they were on their own, because they initially they realized that when they were in a cave by themselves and no one around, there was nobody they could blame for how they functioned. There was nobody that was the cause of how they reacted. And one of the methods that we've learned to use, and I'm not going to go through all of it, is just a reminder. Number one, you can meditate. But the biggest thing to do to prepare your relationship with another state is for you to become honest with yourself. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean you're not honest with yourself now. It means cultivating an ability and a willingness to observe what's going on in your life, not based on how others respond, but based on how you act out or you engage. To learn how to watch you and say, and recognize you and learn about you is a key to beginning to have a relationship with higher states. It is easy to engage with others and blame them for how you're acting. Most of us have had our fill of this. And those of you who do not know you do that, your method would maybe to begin to realize that your reactions are related to you, not to others. This is really difficult. So you can forget that as quickly as you want to. But nonetheless, Allow yourself from time to time to notice that you have reacted in a biased manner. And it's not negative. It isn't positive either. It's just the way it works for all human beings, and learning how to soften that down and seeing it from a different perspective in you is you becoming trustworthy with yourself. And that is a stimulation to an allowance of energy coming into you that will begin to stimulate those areas that you need to see within you and just soften a bit. And why that happens is that energy that gives you life, gives that love that gives you life, that energy that you use to function and engage with you, is wanting you to learn consciously how you often act and learn how to soften that down so that if more energy comes into you, you won't be doing it more often or with greater intensity or with greater defense of against others who have caused this thing to happen in you. Whereas you then don't really realize, like the rest of us, that that has happened in you so that you can feel more comfortable in you. In other words, you blame others, you blame yourself, you blame, because you're protecting. And it's a method of protecting how you are. No negativity attached to it at all. And fortunately for us, those higher states don't see that as negative. They see that as methods of engagement. So you asked specifically about that, and so that's a very specific answer. Do your best with it. Soften you down the best you can. You can't soften you down perfectly. No, there's no expectation about it. What happens is, at some point, the emotional mind quiets right down. And it quiets down for purpose. So you can begin to observe the link that you already have with a higher state. And it isn't based on your personality being valued for it. It's based on your personality being out of the way so you can see it. That seems to imply that we won't have personalities then, but that is farther from the truth. Your mind becomes more able to perceive beyond the narrow niche that you've set out for yourself in relationship to how you function in life. Kind of in a strange way, very similar, but this is from Louise Margion. Mary Lou, we call her. Back in the old days, she says, Ron, in class, you used to ask us this question. What do you want? Do you want to be right or do you want to be spiritual? And then you would ask again, what do you want? Do you want to be right or do you want to be spiritual? Actually, it was based on an experience that I had. At one point, I had a fair amount of clairvoyance that was involved with perceiving a little deeper in life and into another level. And the question that was given to me was, what do you want to do? Do you want to be spiritual or do you want to be more clairvoyant? And I said, I would rather be that which I am supposed to be. Loaded answer. as opposed to being more clairvoyant. Because if I become more clairvoyant, chances are I'll become more personally focused. And I realized that would make it in my way. But as a codicil to that, I also said, but just a minute. What if I need a little bit of clairvoyance to be helpful to others? Maybe I could have a little bit then so I could be helpful to others. There was no answer to that, to tell you the truth. So we are, whether you like to believe it or not, or think that you're personally not that way, we are focused on our personality. It is the thing that we are, that we use, that we engage in a considerable way for seemingly the method of engaging with others and ourselves, and the value of rightness that she was asked. She included the word right versus clairvoyance. But the idea of being right is part of our personalities. Subtle, valuable piece that relates to us being in control of a view that is necessary so that we can comfort ourselves emotionally, regulate our fear of being so vulnerable that we are worth nothing. And we go, it sounds extreme, and I think it is, but in a kind of a way, our vulnerability is so vibrant in that we don't understand that when we're here engaging on these levels, we're also searching for a deep level of acceptance, a deep level of love. In other words, to have others love us, accept us, find us exceptionally important to them. And that is an incessant journey for us. In fact, it's a replacement for a relationship with a deep inner love, a conscious awareness of a deep inner love that is always there in us. It emanates, and we don't perceive where it's coming from, except there's a subtle engagement and bias that we have about what it should look like and how it needs to be valued enough so that we can have a certain level of acceptance with respect to this almost untouchable thing that we search for. And that is in relationship to engaging with higher states. No, it's not about the personality per se, although it doesn't hurt to feel comforted and loved by another. But that is related to how the other then has to be perfect in their engagement, because you already have a biased methodology in you about how that should be. We all have that. And we don't understand that internal structure, that internal loving that we all have within us, isn't noticed by us, but continually sends out emanations relative to it about us. So difficult to explain. So there is already a kind of active loving going on in our personalities. We love how we function, even if we don't know how we function. You can also say, we believe we are functioning perfectly well, and others should recognize that. And sometimes some personalities sell that idea so that they want to be more accepted by others, one or two or 10 or 50 or 1,000, it doesn't matter. The numbers will never be enough, because that engagement isn't the engagement with the higher state loving. And everyone, I don't care whether you believe this or not, everyone has that in them. And that higher state loving can be tremendously involved with almost anything that you believe it should come from. You can work on a puzzle for weeks. Suddenly, you catch an idea that completes that puzzle. Something you're working towards, some goal that is almost impossible, but you somehow attain it. You get a feeling that is unbelievable. You can say, well, yeah, Ron, well, that's the joy of completion, and you really did a good job, and you were recognized by everybody as a great puzzle solver, whatever it may be. But you missed the point. The point is, something within you gave you an eureka moment, many have called it, a sense of completion in a kind of kindred way to engaging with some of these sages had in their relationship with recognizing an entity in the personality state, not interested, but truly interested in the space of calm and peace, and didn't want to come back. But the pull of the species would bring them back. The pull of where they were, the levels of where they were involved with, they weren't only involved with higher states, they were also involved with these states. They were sitting on a bed or a chair. Not very many chairs in caves, often just basic structures, simple beds, maybe a blanket, not very much else. A tiny rock, maybe a foot high, maybe a place so you could put something. Simple life. And if they had a fear that others would enter towards them, they would have to move, because they knew that that fear would be touching them at this level, and they would come back into a place that wasn't quiet. When they were in that quiet space, they only looked to perceive, because they knew it was not about them then. It was about learning, about recognizing, about attempting to understand. And then as soon as they did that, tumbleweeds of reminders, of engagements with life would sneak in, following that line, into a place called head, mind. And that stimulation would also affect their response mechanism, and they would understand, begin to learn that, that's what, okay, that's all right. That's what I did. Okay, while I'm here, I'll have some tea to drink. While I'm here, I'll have something. Maybe I can go down the road 2 miles, go for a walk. There's a small village. I can get some rice. Oh, someone brought me some rice. Oh, I'll have that rice. Yeah, okay. They're taking a recess. Not really, because they're still perceiving that flow inside because they have practiced that every waking moment, so called. Because their waking moments were always those sages. Their mind, they were sleeping, their body was sleeping, but their mind was awake. It knew, that personality knew that that mind was awake, waiting, accepting, respecting. There was no right, no wrong in it, or no definitions in it. There was kind of a knowing, no response related to the personality. Well, just a minute now. We live in the 21st century. Oh, sorry. Should I say that? Is that 20s? Yeah, 21st century. And here we are in 2022. And here we are engaging with each other. That is where we are. So go slow. Every individual who is alive is engaging somehow with that internal state, that flow that gives them life. They use it. Not only that, it's there to be used for the reason of perceiving them as they are. An open, more open book. But this is very difficult for us. To know the reality is not to feel rejected, downplayed, not accepted by higher states. We are accepted by higher states no matter what we do. And this is counter to many beliefs because we have to have a structure, right? And it's valuable. At this level, certain things are valuable. At another level, not as valuable. Because we've just shifted a little bit. So things are different there. Shift again, a little different there. But we are still anchored here when we're alive. The assessment and judgment about how valued we are, how important we are because we did this, we did that. I remember talking to an individual in India one time, and he had been to the Himalayas. I said, there's millions of people who've been to the Himalayas, and they don't think they're very important. Why are you thinking you're very important? Well, it's obvious. If you go to the Himalayas, they affect you. I said, how is that? Well, it's where a lot of sages are. I said, oh, where are they again? Well, he said, they're in the Himalayas. So if you go there, because you know sages are there, you become important. Most sages are hiding from you. They don't want to even know you're around. So their real big trick they'll do is they'll come down from the Himalayas and walk among people. And if they're not dressed too well, you'll be one of the first ones, or like many people, who'll say, "That's not very much of a person. Look, he hasn't even got a car." What about the person who's a sage and has a car? What will you say then? Can't be a sage. He's got a car. We all have these belief registers. They're legitimate for us wherever we are. But when you're engaged, consciously noticing, at least to some degree, and it may feel like an avalanche of flow, but it could be close to here. Listen to you. If you become important because you've got it, it's close to here. At another state, it may not be as important. That's a little not that close to here, but it's still here. Not that is important means it is important to some degree. It is not negative to have that, whatever level that may be, because you can do tricks, because you engage on another state, another plane. That makes you engage on another state and another plane the way you engage here. That means you're close to here. If you are able to use an axe to cut your own cordwood, and somebody says to me, "Ron, do you want to cut some cordwood?" I said, "I'm sorry. I have a bad knee, bad back, whatever my excuse would be. I'm not going to cut a cordwood. My hands aren't used to it." "Oh, I can cut cordwood, though." I said, "Okay. Both of us are close to here. I'm not going to bother doing that. I know I'm going to get blisters. I'm not going to, I'm going to hurt my back, maybe. I'd rather not do that. He's proud, or she's proud, or they're proud, or whoever is, they can cut cordwood. Be happy with what you can do and what you can't do. Know you a little bit, but don't blame other people for it. All of us do that to some degree. See if you can catch yourself doing it. That will help you understand the method that you use in your personality for the purpose of being comforted by you. We all have these things within us. Now, a second level, another level of comfort. If you have one experience that relates to perceiving energy that's flowing through you and in you, notice it. Let that begin to comfort you. I've been able to do that once, twice, 10 times, 50 times. While the person down the street, they only did it 3 times. So now you're getting to know a little bit more about you. You're very proud of doing that. If you really want to be helpful, engage with it and ask for help for it, and ask for help for you so you can calm you down, so that that additional higher state can operate through you and you can notice it. And that's what you're paying attention to. Not where it's going, not why it's going there, not how important you are for having it gone there, but just seeing it. It's not about right and wrong, good, bad, none of that. It's about, my heavens, wow, this is interesting. Does this happen for everyone? Is it ever exciting? My goodness, everyone could be involved with this. And they could be helping others. As long as we don't interfere with it the best we can, we will attempt to interfere with it. Is it okay? It's, it's what we do until we don't. Little by little. Be patient with yourself. When you ask questions about being of value, everyone is of value. There's no one who isn't, because everyone has the same potential. And we are young in that potential, trying to reassure ourselves that we're able because we can do this or that or the other thing, whatever it is, whatever it is. But because you have an experience that's slightly different, reassure yourself that you're okay. Just continue. Many things that you will have experiences with will dissipate because the process of having those experiences is getting you to the state where you can have more as opposed to holding yourself only in one. Intermittently, these things will occur over and over again under a certain context where you may be helpful or not. It's not about evaluating people. It's not about finding a context and finding someone not able or not living up, not able to function this way or that way. It hasn't got anything to do with that. But our life does. The context of these levels has everything to do with that. Proofs, making sure this can't be this way, it has to be that way. That's why sages don't walk around where we are unless they're really quiet about it. They engage in a manner that relates to them being helpful and not being recognized. Because to be recognized, we will bring our grid with us. We will see if this person truly is spiritual. Now, what's in your grid? See it. Recognize it. Back away from it. See how hard that is. It will not be easy because your grid includes all the things that you can't do. And some of them maybe that you can do a little bit with. And you evaluate that little bit. You don't see it as the beginning. You see it as a tremendous endpoint. Do your best not to devalue you in that, even if you find yourself doing those kinds of things. Ease off just a bit. This is how you learn how to grow within you in a way, in a very gentle way, and a kind way, and begin to realize that others will have the same opportunity, if not now, at some other time. Because each and every one of us is in a movement towards the same thing. If not this lifetime, others. But every lifetime is not wasted. Any way of acting on all our parts, any of us, can show us how to help ourselves and where we're vulnerable to our own grid, and how it touches us somewhat harshly and perpetuates a reflex within us that we continue to use, if not on ourselves, on others. If not on others, on ourselves. Do what you can. Thank you, Mary Lou. A very nice question. Very interesting one. How are we doing? Okay. This is one from Marie-Josée Perrier. On Nirvana. Kind of, we have names for everything. Makes us feel secure. Our experience, much less on those areas. But nonetheless, here's the question. If you experienced it in one lifetime, can it be erased or forgotten? No, it can't. That was easy. Can you be in nirvana in life at the same time? And in life at the same time? Oh, that's an interesting question. You know, if you were in nirvana all the time, it would be very, for us, as we see it, you'd be in a space where nothing bothered you. Okay, we'll say it. Nothing bothered you. But you were in love with love itself inside of you to such a degree that it may immobilize you on these levels. Meaning your interest in engaging with these levels or with people would be tremendously less. To engage with these us normal people, I'm going to sneeze, it would be very difficult. Excuse me. Because what you don't realize is in nirvana, you are subject to the perception or the influence of others. This is hard for us to understand. Perhaps this is in the edge of nirvana where we might go. I'm speaking for myself, I guess. Thank you, Marlene. You would be in a space inside where your focus would only be on that flow inside of you as it engages in an expression of love. Everything would be non-essential. Being around folks, if you were in the early stages of this particular sensation, you would still have the grid inside of you, the biases inside of you. But you would know one thing. If anyone was around you, that energy would be transmitting in them, that energy in them would be transmitting every chakra in them, in and through you. You would be nothing but a kind of a mirror It would be touching you here, there, wherever it would be. It would touch your system where you are. It would touch your system where you have been. It would touch your system how you have been. This is really strange talking. And if you are not completely engaged there, your reflexive mechanism would respond. Now, this is, I'm saying, in the early stages of your experience with nirvana. If you knew you, how you really are, at least to a large degree, let's say a medium degree even, you would recognize you were responding. If you could still engage with that loving beingness inside yourself, you could maintain your attention on that because your mind would be empty. Nothing in the brain. Not unusable, empty. The emotional mind would not be expressing itself. And then suddenly, if an interaction came, for example, to your solar plexus, you would have a response going up energetically to the brain. A response may occur in the brain. You perceive it as such. That's a response. Their solar plexus is open and they are responding in a certain way. If you can soften or have no reaction to that, just observe it, you can maintain that engagement with that higher state. For mere mortals, that would be very difficult. For a person that maybe have had this experience a number of times, their engagement with these planes would be akin to the previous lifetimes that they've had. And they would be able to engage still with that flow because remember, the flow is used for you to engage with the personality that you've already set up because you're alive here. Now it's engaged with the higher state. That higher state, if you could handle it and respond with just noticing, not react to the emotional structure, which is a form, a mirror that shows us the migration of energy across to you, shows you what is going on in them, whoever that may be. And now, are you capable of not reacting to that? Do you begin to understand how important it is to be honest with yourself? You may have reactions and say, I'm not reacting, but you are reacting. The intensity shows you that you are reacting. Being honest about that, oh my gosh, I react to that. Wow, that may touch me in places where I have experienced the need to react, to kind of preserve that territory of me and comfort me in how I function around it. No negation is there, but observation is there, and clarity can be there. But it's difficult for us because we are constantly engaged with levels of emotion, levels of physical reaction, levels of responding, one could say, that relate to the whole species. So being in nirvana is quite interesting. Not so simply defined, not so simply dealt with. You can have all kinds of wonderful experiences that may not be nirvana, but they may be incited by a higher state so that you can learn how difficult it is to maintain a particular way of engaging for a purpose beyond your personalizations and their need to be there so that you can survive as the personality you believe you need to be. You can hear that there's no negation there. But there is learning, and there is developing, and there is respect by the higher states, a higher state link, so that you can allow yourself to learn within you, because that's the ultimate level of function. You are being taught to engage with inner flow, inner energy, love, whatever, in a way that allows love to become stronger in you relative to it, not only relative to you. It presents to you for you to build a system through which you can engage with life. Then presents to you so you can recognize the system you're involved with. And I'm talking about the personality system, so that you can understand its depth and perhaps understand that you are connected to other timelines, lifetimes, call it, because they were part of your interconnection and developmentally moving towards creating a form, you can call it personality, a form, that will be able to engage with higher states, knowing full well how you are inside with no manipulation of value or importance, but primarily just to be able to link with that higher state for a purpose that relates to it. It's very difficult for us to understand. In the meantime, we engage with what we perceive here on these planes and fundamentally continue to talk about value of an individual because they have attained a certain level of understanding or perception. And everyone is in that boat. We're just helping each other. We're attempting to do so. But that's not what we're trained to do. We're trained to this versus that, him versus her versus him, her versus her, him versus him, all that sort of stuff. It keeps us from helping other people because our focus starts to turn to us. How valuable we are because we did this, we did that. I hope that might have helped a bit. Marie, I think that kind of covers that question. question. So it's about 10 to 8. So what I think we'll do, because the next question is rather a long one from Lee Martin, so maybe we'll do that on the weekend. And what we'll do is we'll meditate. And I wish everyone well. I hope these answers help a little bit. Please take care of yourselves. And we'll see you on Saturday. I'll see some faces on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. Take care.
Evam Shatyayuhu Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhaviti Nachidevam Nakharu Ushara Panditumati Evam Shatyayuhu Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhaviti Nachidevam Devam Nakharu Ushara Panditumati Atasta Aradha Harihara Virinchadibhirapi Pranatum Stotum Kathamakrit Punyah Prabhavati Avidyānām Antasthimira Nihira Dvipanagaram Jadanam Chaitanya Bhagatam Makaranda Srutijhari Daritranam Chintamani Gunanitam Janma जलधौ निमग्नानां दंष्ट्रा मुररिपु वराहस्य भवति त्वदन्यः पाणिभ्यो अभयं वरदो दैवतः गणः त्वमेका नैवासि प्रकटितः वराभीत्यं भिनः भयात्रातुं दातुं फलमपि च वाञ्छा समधिकम् शरण्ये लोकानां तव हि चरणं वेवनिपुः धनुः पुष्पं मौर्विमधुकरं मयि पञ्च विशिखा वसन्तः सामन्तो मदनो मरुदायो धनरसम् तथापेकः सर्वं इमे गिरिसुते कामपि कृपाम् अपाङ्गान्ते लब्ध्वा जगदिदं अनन्दो विजयते सुधासिन्धो मध्ये सुरविततिवाटी परिवृते मणिद्वीपे नीपोपवनवती चिन्तामणि गृहे शिवाकारे मञ्चे परमशिव पर्यन्तनिलया भजन्ति त्वां धन्या कतिचन चिदानन्दलहरी मही मूलाधार कमपि मणिपुरे उतवः स्थितं स्वाधिष्ठाने हृदि मरुतमाकाशमुपरि मनोऽपि भ्रूमध्ये सकलमपि भित्वा कुलपथम् सहस्रारे पद्मे सह रहसि पत्या विहरसि चतुर्भिः श्रीकण्ठे शिवयुवतिभिः पञ्चभिरपि प्रभिन्नाधि शम्भोः नवभिरपि मूलप्रकृतिः चतुश्चत्वारिंशत् वसुदर कलाश्र त्रिवदन त्रिरेखाभिः सार्धं तव चरणकोणा परिणता त्वदीयं गिरिकन्ये तुलयितुम् कवीन्द्राः कल्पन्ते कथमपि विरिञ्चि प्रभृतयः यदा रूपो सुख्यात् अमरललना यान्ति मनसा तपोभिः दुष्प्रापाः गिरिषु सायुज्य पदवीम् कवीन्द्राणाम् चेतः कमल वरपादातक रुचिम् भजन्ते ये सन्तः कतिचित् अरुणा भवति विरिञ्चि प्रियस्या तरुणतर शृङ्गार लहरी गभीराभिः वाग्भिः विदधति सतां रञ्जनमणि सवित्रीभिर्वाचाम् शशिमणि शीलाभङ्ग रुचिभिः वशिन्यां द्याति वांसः जननी सञ्चिन्तयति यः सकर्ता काव्यानां भवति महतां रुचिभिः वचोभिः वाक्भिः वदन कमलां मोद मधुरम् च युगम् अधस्तस्य तदधो हरार्धम् ध्यायेत्यो हरमहिषु ते मन्मथ कथा ससत्यः संशोभम् नयति वनिताम् इत्यसिरसु त्रिलोकी मप्याश्वम् भ्रमयति रविन्दु शिव शक्तिः कामः क्षिति रथ रवि शीतकिरणः स्मरो हंसश्चक्र तदनु च परामार हरयः अमीर्लेखाभिः तिसृभिः अवसानेषु घटिता भजन्ते वर्णास्ते तव जननी गते माणिक्यत्वं गगनं मणिभिः सान्द्रघटितम् किरीटं ते हिमगिरिसुते कीर्तयति यः समीरे यच्छायां रणशबलं चन्द्रशतरम् धनु शौला किलितिना निबध्नाति धीषणम् ललाटं लावण्यं द्युतिविमलम् आभाति तव द्वितीयं तन्मन्ये मुकुटघटितं चन्द्रशतरम् विपर्यास न्यासा उभयम् अपि सम्भूय चलितः सुधारितस्योतिः परिणम् इति राधा हिमकरम् ध्रुवो भुग्नि किञ्चित् भुवनं भयभङ्ग व्यसनिम् त्वदीय नेत्राभ्याम् मधुकरम् रुचिभ्याम् धृतगुणम् धनुर्मन्ये सव्येतरकरम् गृहीतम् रतिपतेः प्रकोष्ठे मुष्टौ च स्थगयति निगूढौ तरवि अहं सूते सव्यम् तव नयनम् अर्कात्मकतया प्रियामां वान्ते सृजति रजनीं नायकतया द्वितीयाति दृष्टिः दरदरित भुजरुचिः समाधत्ते सन्ध्याम् दिवसनिशयोः विशाला कल्याणी स्फुटरुचिः अयोध्यावदयैः कृपाधारा धारा किमपि मथुरा भोगवती का भवन्ति दृष्टिस्ते बहुनगर विस्तार विजयम् नाम व्यवहरण योग्या विजयते कवीनां सन्दर्भस्तप्तम् मकरन्दैः रसिकम् कटाक्ष याक्षेप भ्रमरा करः कर्णयुगम् अनुच्चन्ता दृष्ट्वा तारा रसास्वाद असूया संसर्गात् कलिकलयनं किञ्चित् तरुणम् शिवे शृङ्गारात् तदितरजने उत्सनभरा सरोषा गङ्गायां गिरिशे चरिते विस्मयवती हराहि भीता सरसिरुह सौभाग्य जननी सखीषु स्मिराते मयि जननी दृष्टिः सकरुणा गतीकर्णां धरुतम् इव पक्ष्माणि दधति पुरां चित्तप्रशमरस विद्रावणहरे निमीलिते गोत्राधरपति पुरोक्तं सकलिते तवाकर्णा कृष्ण स्मरशरा विरासं कलयतः विभक्त व्यतिकरित नीराञ्जनतया विभाति त्वन्नेत्रं त्रितयमिदम् ईशानदयिते पुनः स्रष्टुं देवा द्रुहिणा हरिरुद्रा उपरता रजः सत्त्वं बिभ्रत्तमम् इति गुणानां त्रयमेव पवित्रीकर्तुं पशुपति पराधी हृदये दयामित्रैः मित्रैः अरुणा धवल श्याम रुचिभिः निदः शोणो गङ्गा तपन तनयेति ध्रुवम् त्रयाणां तीर्थानाम् उपनयसि संभेद मनः निमेषु ईशाभ्यां हृदयमुदयं याति जगति तवेत्यादि सन्तो धरणीधर राजन् तनये त्वदन्वेषं जातं जगदिदम् अशेषं प्रलयतः परित्रातुं शङ्के परिहृत विनेशास्तव दिशः सरस्वत्यो दक्षिणा विधिहरिसपत्नो विहरति रतिप्रत्यं शिथिलयति रम्येण वपुषा चिरं जीवन्नेव शपिता पशुपाश व्यतिकरः परानन्दान् भिक्षां रसयति रसं त्वद्भजनम्
Now we'll just begin to do the balancing and grounding, and have a good evening.